Have you ever wished there was a way to make geometry node setups more understandable and usable, and even with no coding skills? Recently, Blender has introduced two major updates which improve the human capacity to create. These relate to the procedural 3D workflows with geometry nodes. Personally, I think geometry nodes has enormous potential for what can be created with it. However, complex setups end up hard to understand and use. Recently, Blender introduced these two new improvements, panels and the menu switch node. So Blender introduced these two features. The menu switch node allows you to choose between geometries or values directly from the modifier. The panel allows you to organize your modifier a lot better by temporarily hiding less relevant information. These help creating more usable tools directly with geometry nodes. Let's use the menu switch node. I'm pressing Shift A, typing in menu, and bringing in the menu switch node. Now I'm gonna use a few different types of geometry. I'm gonna add a cylinder, and I'm gonna add a sphere. Now all these different types of geometry can be directly plugged into the menu switch node. I connect the output to the group output. Now in the node tab, it's possible to name all these different selections. Now when I connect the menu to the group input, now we can access the menu through the modifier. And you can see it works directly. This is very useful for creating varied and flexible tools with geometry nodes. Now let's look at the panels. In the group window on the right, we can click the plus icon and add a panel. I'm gonna name this panel Shapes. Now I can drag in this menu switch. Right away we see that we have a panel in our modifier. Right now this seems like a simple thing, but when the setup becomes more complex, like here, there starts to be a lot of different inputs, and the modifier window would be impossible to read without these panels on the right. Now it's possible to keep all the panels closed, and you can only open the panel you need. This way we can reserve the space in our brain for those controls which are needed. Here we have quite many different options, 7 different options for the top shape of this furniture. And we can very fluently and easily access them through this menu switch. Even though these two nodes seem a bit simple on face value, I think they can be really important and enable people to create more usable tools for themselves and others.